Okay, it's May the 3rd, 2021, 3 a.m. in the morning, and this one was supposed to be, or is supposed to be, another of my journal entries, audio journal entries that I record on my sound recorder. But what is different or special about this one is that it also happens to be, or so I have planned it to be, the first episode of hopefully many uh, that I'm going to record to make sure that once I'm dead, because everyone is going to be dead at some point of time, my ideas continue to live on, my legacy continues to live on, or at least people are aware of who I was and what thoughts did I carry. What's important here is to note that I don't consider myself to be of any significant importance to this world, to this society, or my ideas to be something of that sort. But what I do hope is that someone who listens to me and figures me out or my ideas out is able to do something great for this world. That is my intention behind recording these episodes that I'm going to do from today onwards, inshallah. And these will be a sort of a record of who I was and what were the things that used to occupy my mind. Why did I even think of such a thing, or why did I even think of doing such a thing? Well, maybe it's because the pandemic. Yeah, that is of course the biggest reasons for doing such a thing. We all know that from last year, from 2 years almost, we are dealing with sort of a situation which does not currently at least seem to be having any end to it, and the COVID pandemic, that is. And the realization that this pandemic has brought to many people, including me, is how fragile our lives are, and they can like come to an end at any unprecedented time. It can happen today, it can happen tomorrow, especially the way this second wave is panning out recently, lately. It has become all the more apparent that we are here for a temporary time, and we really have no idea when this time is going to get over. So that's what has pushed me to take this step and come up with this new idea of recording things, because one way of doing it was to write things down and to keep a written record of the same things that I'm going to have an audio record of. But the problem with me, the procrastinator that I am, I feel like I might convince myself not to start on that project. And to overcome that, I find this medium to be more of a motivational, more of uh, a medium that does not care about being perfect in your speech as compared to writing. Because when you start writing, you might stop, you might think of words, sentence structures, paragraphs, you might think of all sorts of things to make whatever you are saying clear, and whatever you want to express to the world, whatever you want to articulate, you want to make it perfect. That's what happens when you start writing normally. But when you're speaking, your words just flow, and you just have to give words. You just have to articulate whatever your thought processes are, whatever you're thinking in your mind. And that's what's happening right now. I have absolutely no script, I have absolutely no preparation for this thing. It just struck me that instead of writing, because I had been thinking about it from a lot of time, that I should write things down, but I was not able to gather that motivation to just start on that project. So just 15 minutes back, literally 15 minutes back, I got this idea of doing this through doing this the whole project through this medium of a sound recorder. So I just got the idea, I implemented it, and I have started on it. And this is as raw as it can be. There won't be any editings in this episode or the future ones. It's just no preparations. A little bit of preparation might be there in the coming episodes, because I think that's a better idea to articulate yourself, express yourself, and not simultaneously not waste the time of the listeners as well. But for this episode, I have not prepared anything, and I'm just speaking, blabbering, whatever comes to my mind. And I consider this also to be a sort of an experiment for me to just um, see how things go with this episode. I'm not really sure about the length of the episodes that there will be in this series. I am not sure about the content. I am not sure about the number of episodes that there will be in this series. I'm not sure about anything because this is spontaneous, as raw as it can be, because I just got the idea and I have just started. Okay. What are you as listeners supposed to be expecting from the series? Well, it is primarily for those who are near me, who are in my circles of friends, of relatives, of colleagues, of classmates, of whatever kind these circles are. This series and all the episodes in it are primarily focused on them. They are primarily supposed to be for them, and then on the secondary level, they are for the rest of the world, and that's why I'm using the English language, the language that I'm using to record uh, these episodes. My mother tongue, of course, is Kashmiri, and I'm alhamdulillah very comfortable in speaking in that language as well as Urdu or Hindi, as they call it. But I'm choosing to speak in English because I want this to reach I want people from around the world to have access to it, so that maybe there is something of importance somewhere in these episodes. Maybe, I'm just saying, maybe there might be something of importance for someone from around the world. So to increase the access for the people and to include as many people as I possibly can, that's why I've chosen to speak in English. And what are the listeners supposed to expect from this series is a variety of topics. I'm interested in. I'll be explaining, not explaining exactly, but sharing all of the things that I've learned throughout these 27, 28 years of my life. Things that I find important, that I find may be important for you as well, for the people around the world, whoever it is, of whatever age group he or she is. The things that interest me, the genres primarily can be categorized or listed as we can say philosophy, a great deal, English literature, of course, because academically I'm pursuing that, I have pursued that, English literature. Then there's psychology, theology, of course. Religion is a big field, important field of my interest. And yeah, these are the primary topics or genres about which I'll be speaking, hopefully in the coming episodes. Apart from that, sociology, anthropology, education. Yes, I'm a huge a lover of educational psychology, education as a whole. I mean, the methods to the importance of education, and the ways, the methods, the efficient methods to convey whatever you want to convey to the world, to the young citizens of the world, how to make their life better, how to make them great citizens of tomorrow, how to free them from the shackles of conformity and societal norms and all of that, how to make them free thinkers. All of these things interest me a lot, and I have quite a few theories, we can say, or ideas in this realm also, and I would love to share them with you, in case I'm dead, or in case I'm not there tomorrow, whenever that happens. And it can happen anytime. As I said, the pandemic is it is what it is. So we have to be realistic, and that's, as I said, that was why I started with such a thing. I'm really not sure how to, go ahead with it. Should I be taking specific topics, or should I be taking one field like psychology or education for a day, and then next day do something else, or mix them up, or I have really no idea how I'm going to do it, but hopefully I am going to, go through with it, and I'm going to complete this as soon as I can, and I am able to express as much as I possibly can. That would be my target, and that's what I'll try to do. So for this first episode, I think it's only appropriate that I talk about education and discuss some things about education, because there's nothing more dearer to me than this very subject, this very topic of education. I consider education to be of paramount importance in our life. It always has been, it is, and it always will be a dominant force, that we find in our society, in our world, that has an impact, a tremendous impact on the world. And whatever you want to do, what all changes you want to bring to this world, you can bring them through this medium, through this tool of education, educating people. It's such a large term, and it contains multitudes in it. I do accept that, but you gotta you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta explain things. You gotta start from somewhere in this pursuit of knowledge, uh, in making your thoughts clearer, in expressing your inner ideas, thoughts, whatever it is. Education is a big, as I said, it's a really large field idea, and it is of tremendous, as I said, of tremendous importance and impact. It does have a huge impact on the society. But what exactly do I mean by education? When I use the word or the term education, it's not necessarily only constricted or confined to school education, college education, university education. No, that's definitely not what I mean by education. It includes those things, but is not limited to those avenues. I mean, education is whatever when two people have a conversation and one of them or both of them get to know something that they do not know, uh, that's education. When you make some pamphlets, or you publish something in a newspaper or a magazine, and you make people aware of something that they do not know, that's education. When you make a YouTube video, a skit, a parody, or whatever it is, a movie, say a rap song or any song, or poetry, poem, and you educate the masses, that's education. You tell them something that they do not know, or maybe they know but they haven't really had the opportunity or the time to think about those specific issues or topics. That's education. What I'm doing right now by uh, recording these journals, kind of audio entries, audio journal entries, and making this series recorded sound only, voice only series, this is education as well. So education, as I said, is a broad idea, broad term, and includes all of these things. And why do I consider it to be of paramount importance, or of great impact, great importance, is that whatever changes that you want to bring in this world, whether they are good, whether they are bad, that's a secondary issue. But if you want to bring any change in the society, you have to educate people, right? And it's very important. And yes, I do agree that most of that happens at the school level, or in those places like schools, colleges, universities. I do agree. I do accept that. But it can happen beyond them as well. And you don't necessarily have to be a teacher, a lecturer, or a college professor, and that sort of stuff to, educate people. No, you can do it at your home while you're talking to your brother, little sister, your mother, father, whoever it is in your family. You're educating them. You're making the use of this tool. When you're talking to your children, you're making use of this tool. When you're teaching them something, you're making use of this tool. When you're talking to your friends, you're making use of this tool, of course. It's time for sehri right now, the pre-dawn meal that Muslims have before fasting. So I think I would conclude this episode here only, and hope to talk more about education and other fields of my interest to you really, really soon, hopefully. Till then, it's goodbye from me.